Hello and welcome back to Songs of SYX. Here we are, back again in V.66, this time as the Amevians. This is going to be an interesting one because I haven't really determined. I know a lot of people want to see something of a tutorial, and I know other group of people want to just see the cities become massive because they've already gotten past all of this stuff a million times. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of a mashup. This is going to be the be-all, end-all Amevian tutorial. I will link people for the next couple, whatever, until the new updates come out. But consider everything I say here general knowledge, things, rule of thumb, that you should follow as Amevians. This is not going to count for any of the other species, so if I'm talking about something, it's not going to pertain to them, especially some certain other races that aren't going to be in your city. As Amevians, primarily you're going to want to have just Amevians. You can have the public servants, as they're called, as any of us like to call them, these guys here. YouTube doesn't like the word. I understand why, perfectly reasonable. But you can get those guys. They are very useful if you are Amevians, but personally I don't like to have them. I like to have it just strictly Amevians. That's it. And you can see if you click on their tab here, right click, you can go in and see all of these different tabs. We're going to refer to each as a tab: population, access, service, etc. I bet you could make up a Pazamurgo rock. Pazarog. That's what this means, like PEMDAS, and you should learn that because each one of them has a value to you. You can see that total fulfillment here is 107. We have 25. So that's 1/4 of the total fulfillment for all services, for all of these tabs. Their loyalty currently lies at 54 and their happiness at 54, only simply because they have nothing. They have no reason to be unhappy, but they also have nothing that makes them happy. So in order to alleviate that, you can check here with the question mark, or you could just look at their properties, which gives you a kind of summarized view of what they're good at. They're average with bows. They're average with pretty much everything. They have very good morale. They're relatively tough. So you could click this properties tab if you'd like, and this will give you a summarized view of all of their different skills, especially the ones that you'd like to know, especially like their lawfulness, submission, loyalty, etc. So they're about average on everything. In this tab here, you're going to see 4 different things that you can do to your population. Prosecution is something that you don't want to do ever. If you prosecute them, they will literally arrest their population. You could prosecute certain amounts of them, but you can see it's going to reduce happiness a whole heck of a lot. Handouts are very useful if you have money and you don't know what to do with it. Just hand it out to people. You keep your happiness as high as possible. And declaring a day off, this is a free way to give yourself positive happiness, as well as work overtime, which is a quick way to get you guys unhappy. I've never used it. Maybe it's useful. I don't know. I don't think that it is. I play the game very slow. You should never need that kind of quick work done. It should always be built up beforehand. So, as Amevians, the first and foremost thing, you can see all these tabs at the bottom. Like I said, go click this question mark. You'll see all of their different traits and stuff. I'm not going to go over all of this a lot, but it's pretty self-explanatory. The Amevians like warm, and they like fresh water. So I've got a set next to a warm freshwater spot, and we're going to basically build a really nice starter village town and get to a good point, and then I'm going to go on to the next species. That's kind of how I'm going to do each one of them for V.66. As I've seen certain people, and I definitely think that there's a market, quote unquote, in the YouTube sphere for people to make YouTube videos, especially tutorials on Songs of SYX. So here I am. Probably the least professional to do it, but nonetheless, I do enjoy doing this stuff. It's very fun. And we're building a fishery. So a fishery is the primary building you're going to want to build for your boys here. And it can be large. I don't want it to be too large because we are going to have to build it. Is the longer it takes, the less food they're going to have, the less happiness, so forth. So we'll put this in here. Actually, you know what? I only want that to be the connector bit there, just so that there's like an actual connection. But I'd like the storage to be over here. And we're gonna have something like that, and pretty get away with the pretty small fishery buildings here. And we're gonna set them to build that at full speed. This is the only building you need to start out. Once they have this going, you're relatively set. As the Amevians, they only want fish. So if you can secure that primary objective, then you're golden. You're very golden. And they like their buildings to be made out of mud, so they're very, very cheap. I'm looking for logistics here. Very, very cheap to maintain and house. So we're going to build a mud warehouse. Not a stone warehouse, not a wood warehouse, not a grandstone, but just literally old mud. And we're going to build that like this. Put a little door in the back. They don't care for shapes, they just dislike noises. And as long as they're near water, they're pretty happy. So we're going to build our town along the water. We're going to have people living amongst the water. And actually, I want to, suspend these jobs. If you set too many jobs, like I just did, they will do that first, where you really want them to get this done first. I'm just building that. Usually you want to go in here and click the planning option, but I get lazy and I don't want to specifically undo each thing, so I'm just going to do it as I see fit, because that's just kind of how I do things. Oh, don't do that. Speed that up. Perfect, and that is done. So you're going to want to leave about 5 guys, give you enough happiness and give you enough free laborers so that you can get all your other jobs done. And we'll activate these here. We'll put a janitor as well. Early on, I think it's better to get the small one. You don't need multiple workshops for this guy, or workstations, but later on you're going to want to have 2 to 3 inside each janitor, so that they can have upwards of 15 laborers. 15 janitors sounds like a lot of people, but they will cover a large area, and efficiently too, which is the most important part. Alright, so after we get our janitor placed, we're going to want to go and build a house. You have 3 different types of houses. Each one provides a different size and different amount of population. You can see that this one is the largest. The longhouse provides 10 residents housing. This one, the second, the house, provides 5, and the apartment provides 3. Upgraded, they provide, I think, a total of 6 to 10 more. I can't remember exactly how much they add. So we're going to place a house kind of in line right here. Oops. I want that to be at a different spot. Place this like that. And they're going to get to doing that. So these are the 3 things you want to get done first. And then you can put in your odd services. You're going to need a speaker, of course. I think what I'll do is I'll build the area along the water. So like that. We'll put our well. We need a large well. And actually give it a little bit of space from the road. Larger wells are better because that provides more access overall. The smaller the access point, the less access they can get overall. But don't get that mistaken for their total quality. So, for example, the well will sit at 50%, even though I have full access to, or 33%, because it is the first upgrade, not the max upgrade. If you had the max upgrade, then you would have the availability of 100%. So they can have full access to it, but only to 33% quality. That's basically how that works. And then we want to put in a speaker here. We'll put them on the water. Actually, you usually want to have 2 different speakers, because if one is not working, the other one will be. So we'll do that for now. Actually, can I get away with... I know I do this a lot. No, I can't. I'll do something like that. Alright, there we go. We've got our first house done. The buildings take a little longer because of the fact that we have mud. So I'm actually going to suspend these jobs so that they specifically finish the hearth before winter, because the cold will kill them. Even in the summer, or in the warm areas, I should say, the cold can be difficult to deal with. It gets cold at night. At least from my understanding. No, it seems to be still sitting at 19. Yeah, we're good. Alright. There we go. So now that we've got that, we can activate the janitor in the warehouse. The reason I want these buildings done is because we can put this like that. Get some storage space for both our wood and stone. And then fish. Lots of fish. We'll put room for the livestock. And then I think there might be some rations, and then the grain that's left in here as well. No, they ate up all the rations. That's fine. So he's going to go grab all that, put it in here. If you're wondering how you trade with neighbors early on, you can do so by going to diplomacy. I'm waiting for him to actually fill up all of our grain. There we go. You can go through here. So this tab, technology, right next to it, factions. You can see your neighbors. Ooh, we have a neighbor, Amevian. These guys are going to be guys we want to be friends with. You can go through here and see all their different tabs, but we're going to want to go to diplomacy. These give you options to all kinds of different things, like trade. Not too bad for trade price. Real quick though, we'll sell him our resources that we don't want, so we can go and click on that resource button there. You can sell slaves as well. You can see the value at 590, and the opinion, if we gave it to him, that's what we would get. If we go in here and we want some resources, we can click on that and ask for specifically opiates or whatever. It's going to tell you the price on that right side there at 153. Let's say you wanted to start out and you didn't have any food and you were starving. You could do this, and you can see it changes the value at the bottom, so you get 10 pieces of meat, whatever, 12 pieces of meat for your starter items, just to keep yourself going for a little bit longer so you don't starve to death. I am not going to do that though. I'm just going to take the money, leave it with a little bit of opinion, and keep our money up a little bit. The more money you have, the better your riches looks. So you can see that 500 gives you 10%. So if that's 10%, we need 5,000 for 10 people, roughly, right? Yeah, that's how math works. So in order to max out your coffers there, you want about 1,000 per person, or 500 per person. That's not too bad. Let's activate these jobs. And we're going to go in here, and we're also going to check their religions. There's 4 different religions. The Amevians like all religions relatively equal, so we're going to have them worship a specific religion, Shmalor. I'm just going to set that up real quick because I know what I want and how I want it. Kind of like here. And Shmalor is basically going to give us a boost to our offensive skill as well as submission. So if I go in here, you can see they have a 33, 33 to 17, and 17 preference. These are their preferences. And if I go into the religion tab, it'll tell you specifically when you hover over what it is and what it does by looking at the bottom. The boost affects submission, offensive skill, and defense skill. And the submission is a 0.2, the offense is a 0.1, but it lowers their defensive skill. So basically makes them a little crazy. That's perfectly alright. I don't care. I don't want to get Praetorism, which is the other religion that they're relatively interested in, or Athurism, because Athurism is extremely expensive and relatively difficult to obtain. And the third or the fourth one here is Minionism, which is basically sacrificing humans for submission. This one, I think we're sacrificing... I don't know what we're sacrificing. It doesn't say. It just is a temple. Huh. I forget. I'm pretty sure they took prisoners too, but I could be wrong. So we've got our beginner town here. And like I said, you want 2 of these. I may have not said it, but these 2 speakers, because the speakers provide a service. But if a guy who's working at the station isn't there like that, they won't get access. So sometimes the speaker has to go do something, like get some food, and leave his station, leaving there no speaker. When that guy went and took a swim, there were still people here listening to the speaker because the other guy was working. That way, if I look at the access, services, speaker is at 98%. That's the only one you can get to boost 100 early on. We can see 50 and 57 for Hearth. So that's the max without getting the upgrade. We still have very good services. You can see the load is 14%. That's how many people are technically currently filling it up. And we're gonna do this. Ew, it's got that stinky bug color to it. I don't know. I don't know if I like this one. I've never done a minion, so matter of fact, why don't we do that? And what we'll do is we'll just keep the humans as our slaves, so that I don't have to deal with too many of them. I don't want to have that stinky bug texture in my city. And now that we have all of those, we have access to some immigrants. So we're going to authorize a few of them. Early on, you can get away with getting all 4 or whatever that you have, but I always suggest going for half the immigrants, letting the 4 or 2, whoever come in, get accustomed to where they're at, and then add a couple more. Just keep adding them that way. We need some more housing as well. So let's put this in here. Ideally, I wish that it would line up like that, but that's okay. We'll probably build another building at the end there. So that's going to give us room for 40. You can build them on top of each other if you like. You can build a grid city if you feel. I think that certain people dislike the grid city design. I personally think that it's very useful when you're new, or you're just getting the hang of the game and you're trying to figure everything out. I think you should do it. And we're going to want to go and build a food stall kind of right here. Yep. Then anything over 30 is good for the beginning here. I'm just trying to think of how I want to do this stall here. That's fine, yeah. Something like that. 36. And then put a little road access to it. Something like that. Amazing, amazing. And put it at immigrants. Get 2 of them. So the good things about Amevians are that they live for literally ever, but the worst part is that they take a very long time to raise. So if you look at their age, go in here, I believe that they live to be... It doesn't say in here. I know it says it in properties, so like lifespan 150. So at 80 days, they become a grown adult, and they live for 150 years. So they're one of the older races compared to humans who die at 70. On average, most of them are dying about 50 years old. And they die in droves. They die in droves. Let me tell you. I've lost a lot of humans, and they stink because of it. And we're probably not even going to use them too much, but I do want the shrine because religion is important to them. And a Athuri, it's just not something I want to have. I really don't care for a Athuri. I don't like the look of the Athuri temple. And I've never gone for a minion, so we may as well start sacrificing prisoners to the Lord. The Lord of Mignon. He's actually, from my understanding, one of the central deities in the Songs of SYX religion. So he's a very important character. Or, I'm not sure. Regardless, next building we want to do here is build the carpenter. I'm going to put it over here because it's going to be a little bit noisy. And I'm trying to build similar sized buildings as what's over there. So we're going to put a couple workbenches in here. Something like that. You don't need to build I think a lot of people are used to a lot of other city builders where bigger is the best. Early on, you can really get away with these smaller buildings, and I don't even need that much storage space. I think 3 is good. They never fill it up. But if it's a refinement building, make sure that it's got a lot of storage, because they will fill it up and they will not be able to get more resources because the internal storage is full. So make sure that the refinement buildings are much larger. We have 4 new houses. We have our shrine, and these guys are moving the food stall, getting it ready. Put all of our new laborers here to work in the fishery so we can build up our fish and also boost our happiness. Employment is based off of how many people are employed, so if you look at work, it's going to be at a good level. It's dropping a little bit, but for the most part, having it filled, all of our people employed, and fulfillment, which is they like to work here. Not too happy about working at the speakers or working on the janitors, but they are very happy to work in the fishery, and you can see the vast majority fulfillment 86%. So they're very, very happy. Amevians, you should never have any issues with happiness, really, because they're very simple people. Alright, we've got 22 people, or 22 Amevians. Once we hit 25, we can get the laboratory, which we're going to put over here. Probably actually up north. We're building along the river. Anywhere along this river, we're going to build along it. Alright, now we've got our 25 or 26 guys. We just need our carpenter finished. I don't know what it's taking him so long. There we go, finally. Get these guys a little road here, and there's a few too many. We'll put 6, and then we need some space for furniture. We can actually remove that, and we'll drop that too. Awesome. So once this furniture is done, we'll set up a lab. Let's go through here. A laboratory gives you knowledge to basically unlock the rest of the game. It's really the most useful thing. And then actually let's put 2 more houses in here. And then laboratory to match it. This is a perfect size lab. You don't need anything bigger than that. Put some doors in. Alright, now we've got our lab up and running. We're gonna get a couple more aspiring immigrants here to fill that lab out. And I've also got a Amevian hatchery on the way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into this tab here, and we're gonna send our neighbor fair amount of our resources, stuff that I don't care about, like stone and furniture, and we're gonna ask for probably as much fabric as possible. Alright, 74, that's perfect. And we're gonna set a little spot in here for that. Reason being, you don't really have the time or the energy to get the weaver and actually produce the cotton and everything to make fabric, so it's better just to buy it. Then you can get your early breeder down, get everything situated. So we want to start getting our Amevians population growing naturally here. And we can also get the upgrade here as well. So we upgraded our fishery with the excess fabric that we had. Alright, now that we've got some technology, we're going to go and get the first thing. The entertainment unlock is the stage. It's 100 technology, it's very simple. We're going to grab that, and we're going to go into our entertainment, hit stage, and then we're just going to put that down in here. Although there's noise right there, so we probably shouldn't do it right there. Early on, since we don't have a lot of workers, I'm just going to build the smallest one possible. But later on, when you got some extra workers, it's a good idea to get the bigger one. Alright, now we've got a little bit more technology. We're going to go and get the paved roads. I think that's probably one of the best ones to get, and then some fishery methods, just to get that boost going. So, go ahead, and you can see this is the list for the roads. They like the paved road a little bit more than all the other roads, so we're going to go and click that. Actually, I think they like it about the exact same, but it does give them a boost, so we're going to go and click this convert option. highlight all of the roads, and convert them like that. Alright, now that we've got 40 guys, we can get access to the export depot and the import depot. We don't have trade yet, but I'm going to place down one anyways in front of the carpenter so that we can actually start exporting some excess furniture. Ideally you want them near the warehouse, but it's fine. I'm just going to have them over here. Alright, now we've got the Amevian hatchery here. This building is going to provide us 10 babies every 10 or so days, it says, but that's actually a lie. That's going to be a lot longer than 10 days. I promise you that. It's going to be a lot longer. But we have export depot as well. We're going to remove the worker from here, and we're going to just have it set to this. If you want to, you can set the pull source to be there, and then you click this. You can adjust how much the pull limit is, so anything over 20% they will sell, and we'll keep all of the extra wood, or sorry, furniture, basically stored away. Anything over 20% will be sold. But we don't have our worker there, so we're going to wait until we get a trade deal. We don't have any trade deals because we don't have enough. We need $17,000. That's a little too much for me right now. So we're going to speed up time, let them do their thing, and then also activate this job, which is the second carpenter. I went and got the Warhammer technology. You're going to want to get something like this to make early money. I personally like to do this. You could do bows. Bows is a pretty easy one to do. Also, why is this road here not upgraded? Awesome. So we've got the second carpenter down. We're going to change that recipe over to makeshift weapons, and then have 3 guys work there. We've got our mass grave done, and we've got everything else done. So this is it. This is the initial town up to 50 population that you're gonna want to have. This, unfortunately, a lot of people might not like it. This is what you need. These are the buildings that you're gonna need. Everything else you can kind of go from here wherever you want to go. You could do a pasture route. You could do a farm route. You could just do administration. You could have tons and tons of babies. You could do whatever you want. It's your freedom. But for me, I personally have to do this. This is the beginning. Make sure that you have space for at least 60 or 50 guys. Make sure you have your carpenter, your food stall, the earliest unlock, which is the stage. You could get the arena. I have enough for the arena right now, but I'm not going to get that because I probably could use it for something else. Or actually, you know what? I lied. I'll do that because it's a really cheap one, and it's pretty good for your services to get that early on. So we're gonna put this in here like that, and then put a little road connecting it up. We've got our hatchery, we've got our little warehouse, janitor, lab, and then all of our services kind of tucked in near their work site, between the work site and where they live, so they can access them while they're going to work or coming home from work. And hopefully we're gonna have some trade exports set up so that we can start making some spare cash, influence our people. We found out that about $500 or 500 denarii per person is necessary to have your riches at 100%. At least from what I've noticed or what I saw. Let's actually check. We'll probably figure it out. 2%. Close enough, yep. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I look forward to the next one. Those are going to be the more interesting videos where I get to the higher populations. I will probably cap out at about 1,000 because I think after that, everything is irrelevant. You're going to have to just figure it out on your own. But I'm trying to make these early videos as information-packed as possible and try to make them the best editing-wise so that you guys can get all the information you need in a short time span and get back into your game and do well and succeed and have fun. Have fun. That's the most important part of SYX. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.